How we doing, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast. I am your host, Richie. On tonight's show, we're going to be hitting on a big series going down in the Bronx that wraps up today between the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers feasting on Yankees pitching yesterday, where game one of the series felt like something that would be a World Series battle. The atmosphere, the intensity was there. Yankees are without the great Juan Soto for a couple of days. We're going to hit on that. We're going to hit on why the Florida Panthers are just so damn good. We're going to ask the question, can the Dallas Mavericks respond tonight in just a little over an hour and square up the series? Their main man, Luka Doncic, will be active, but he is dinged up. We're going to talk about why John Henry is such a horrible owner for the Boston Red Sox. We're going to talk about Red Sox great Big Papi having a little fun with the boys from Queens and much more. With me today, my guy, Mr. Ryan Shedd, upstate New York. How you doing, boss? Happy Sunday.
What's up, man? Hey, happy to be here. The weather up in upstate New York, as I'm reporting in, not great today.
Yeah, I heard, man. I heard.
Monsoon 1 minute and 75 degrees the next. The sun comes out, then downpour, then sun comes. I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, in that
weather will
regard,
change.
in that regard, we actually do have a similarity between upstate New York as well as Florida. Florida could be a monsoon, look like the end of days, and then it looks like a postcard picture that you want to just put up. But yeah, Florida definitely with the hurricanes, things of that nature, the tropical climate, it could always go awry. All right, as well, joining me today, my co-host, the birthday boy, Window 2, Idris Salam, a.k.a. Bosco from the Bronx out in North Carolina. Happy birthday, bro. How are you?
Thank you. Let me give you the weather update here. We are having off and on rain, too. No monsoons, though, just drizzling, that's all. But it's sunny one moment, drizzling the next moment, looking like a tornado about to hit the next moment.
East Coasters, telling you.
Yes, it's the East Coast. West Coast just don't know what we go through. Hey, we got earthquake.
The struggle's real out here. Damn it.
Come to the East Coast.
I'm not going to give as detailed a weather report as my two guys with me today. I'm just going to say that Florida's hot as fuck, and all you got to do is throw an egg on the floor, and you can make a meal.
Right.
It is too damn hot, and yeah, you never really get used to it. That's all I got.
Pants are hot.
Yes, indeed. We're going to start it up with them. I call that, the segue. Panthers are that damn good, shutting out the Edmonton Oilers last night. Game one of the Stanley Cup Finals. Oh, game one of the Stanley Cup Finals I really thought was going to be an MSG. Puck control, so key. Better skating, better goaltending, more aggressive, better forecheck. I'll be honest with you guys. This is a coronation. I think that the Dallas Stars were the best team in the West. The Edmonton Oilers, in my opinion, overachieved twice. They shouldn't have beat the Canucks. They did in round earlier. They certainly shouldn't have taken and handled business as they did in the West Finals with Dallas. As far as I'm concerned, guys, Florida has already done everything. The only thing that would stop them from winning the Cup is complacency itself. They beat a great Ranger team. They beat a pretty damn good Boston Bruins team. They made a team that has championship pedigree, no matter what year, in the Tampa Bay Lightning look very, very mediocre, very pedestrian. It's Florida's coronation. I wouldn't be surprised if they sweep. I saw a little bit of it, but I saw enough to say that they are just that damn good. And as much as it annoys me that my boys aren't playing, I just got to praise them. That's all I could do. I got to give the credit where it belongs, and it belongs in South Florida.
You know, they came up short last year, and this year they just look like, hey, we got to take this, man.
Yes.
And Edmonton, I think they're overmatched. I mean, they got by Dallas. They shouldn't have, but they got by Dallas.
I couldn't believe they won that series. I really couldn't.
I kind of picked them in the upset, but just to throw in the upset. But I knew Dallas was going to beat them, but they didn't, I was kind of surprised. But Florida, golly, man, and then the way they handled the Rangers, man, we couldn't do nothing against them. We
No.
couldn't finish. We were always playing from behind, overtime. I mean,
Seems like another lifetime ago when we took a 2-1 series lead. And all I'm going to say is I was very vocal about how fortunate we were to have that second win.
yeah.
It's kind of remarkable that all the games, with the exception of game 1, were 1-goal games. But make no mistake about it, Florida, when you look at the plus minus playing in the Rangers zone, you're going to continue to see it in this Oilers series. That's who they are. That is just who they are. And their coach is built for these moments. One of the cool customers in the NHL who actually feels rather comfortable being spoken to during games, whereas most coaches will do the bare minimum, obligatory stuff for the sport. But they're not trying to get into it that much. But I got to say, man, it is their time. And you just got to let them embrace it. And you hope that you could come back next year and give them a better go. But this team is not going anywhere for a while.
I think Florida might get, not Florida. My bad, shit. But let me say, I think
you're good.
I think Edmonton might get one. They might.
Maybe game 4 when facing total elimination. If their spirit isn't completely shrunk by then.
That's it.
Shed, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, Connor McDavid isn't going to just lie down. But personally, I think Alexander Barkov is one of the most underrated and complete players in the NHL. I don't think he gets enough credit. Everybody gets, on Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin and these guys. And this guy is just skating like bad out of hell. I mean, the guy, I personally don't think he gets enough credit. He's on the Florida Panthers. And, before last year, they were almost a nobody team. And they surprised everybody last year. And this year, they're showing up. And, dude, this guy, just my opinion, he is such a good player, man. I don't know what else to say about it. I don't see Florida, like to Richie's point, they could very well just sweep. But again, I don't think Connor McDavid's going to lie down. But man, they're just a superior team on all facets of the game. I don't know, good luck, Edmonton. This is about where I'd leave that.
Crazy, man. Their goal play is insane. I mean,
oh man, the shutout. I mean, come on. They're just
it's not an easy thing to do. It doesn't matter how good your goaltender is. Shutting out anybody in the playoffs is not an easy thing to do. And this is just off the top of my head. I would actually have to look up the numbers on this. But to my knowledge, there have only been 3 shutouts in these playoffs. 2 of them by the Florida Panthers, 1 of them by the New York Rangers. But what makes Florida more impressive with the shutouts is that they did it in deeper rounds. The Rangers shut out a
shots on goal.
Yes. The Rangers shut out a Capitals team that, in my opinion, was already becoming sellers, and they overachieved with the strange mix of veterans and guys that they're trying to filter in as younger talent to kind of turn around the culture before Ovechkin is too old to get another crack. But as far as shutting out the President's Trophy winners in game 1, and then a week or so later, week and a half later, you shut out the Western champions in game 1 of the final round. There's a lot to be said about that. Those are soul-snatching victories that really leave an indent on what you're doing, and from a psychological level can just really mess up your opponent. But I see this as a coronation. Last year, going into the Stanley Cup Finals, I expected more from the Panthers, but I think the gauntlet of what they had to do to get there last year really caught up to them.
Yeah.
And I think this year
– last year.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that they were good. But like anything else, when you get past Boston, they were riding pretty damn high after that. But, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought they were going to win it all last year. I know Vegas was legit last year. I just didn't think they were going to beat Florida. But, Vegas made a liar out of me. I picked Florida to win the Cup last year going into the finals.
Yeah, and Florida, it's like they went through the season like, let's just get to the playoffs. And then they just went from 0 to 100.
And the truth is, it wasn't like they were that far behind the Rangers for the best record in the East. You're talking a matter of a few games.
It's like they just sat back. Like, we'll just sit back here, Once we get in the playoffs, then we'll just turn it all the way on.
Yeah, because in the old NHL, you used to get points for ties.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there are no ties, so getting to overtime essentially is a point. So the way your standings look, it'll say specifically overtime, so it doesn't count as a loss, so to speak. Even though it is a loss, you're still getting something for it.
Right.
There's nothing more frustrating than going to overtime in the old school NHL and getting nothing for it. So you're playing an extra period and you're still not getting nothing for it.
I hated the ties, man. I hated the ties, man.
Well, I mean, I rooted for them if it was a matter of jumping somebody, but yeah. The only thing I like ties in is football, for the sheer fact that after a full quarter after regulation, I'm like, if nobody won yet, I'm okay with it. That's just me though. I'm old school.
And it's kind of rare too. You don't see many NFL ties.
No, and you see even more rarities where there is a tie and a certain quarterback wouldn't know what the rules were.
Yeah, I'm Philly quarterback.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes doesn't help Andy Reid at all. Okay, on to the NBA. I'm salty just a skosh. Anytime I get to do a little shot at Philly, I'm all for it.
Yes,
but
sir.
Notice how I preserved the Cuse because we know where McNabb's from. Protected them while still insulting Philly.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the Mavericks respond tonight in Boston with a banged up Luka Doncic. We know how big Luka's been all year long. The 1-2 of he and Kyrie, something to feel really good about, not just if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, but if you're a fan of the game of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
We know what the Celtics bring. We saw it on full display in game 1, but although I don't think you have to really be a basketball savant to know that the Celtics should be the favorites in this series. I saw glimpses of why the Mavericks are the West champions. I saw glimpses of after you get a team's best punch, they kind of give you a blueprint of what you have to do better if you're going to hang. I guess the overall question here is Luka has a chest contusion kind of thing going on, which does make it hard with breathing if you're constantly aggravating it. And we know that the ankle isn't the best right now, but he's a gamer. He's going to play. Kyrie coming off one of the worst playoff games of his career. I don't expect an encore there. But the bigger question is, what can they do to slow down the Celtics, who look like they are really honed in and actually look hungry? They answered the call. They hadn't been tested. They're getting the best team in the West, or at least the team that won the tournament in the West. What do they got to do? What do they have to do to win this game tonight? That's my question, gentlemen.
They can't let Porzingis get to the top of the key. And
yeah, I like that idea. Absolutely.
Top of the key and shoot. I mean, the first half, he pretty much said, "Okay, I'm back," And PJ Washington and crew, they got to put points on the board, man. They're gonna have to put points on the board. They just can't rely on Luka and Kyrie to do everything because Boston, you got Drew Holiday, you got Brown, you got Tatum, you got Porzingis, you got the old man. Shoot, I got his name in my head. I can't.
Horford.
Al Horford. They all can shoot, man.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
You have to rotate, man. And you can't let Porzingis is 9 feet tall and he can shoot the three. You can't let this man get to the top of the key and shoot the ball. And you can't let Horford get in the corner and shoot the corner.
The ageless wonder, Al Horford. He's been awesome.
Can't let him get that corner. He is a killer from the corner. They got to D up, man. Kyrie got to find a shot tonight.
Yes, indeed. He missed a lot of open shots that he normally doesn't miss. I mean, he's one of the finest ball handlers in the history of professional basketball. Seeing him struggle just on natural things that come to him makes you wonder if he was pressing too hard. It makes you wonder. I'm going to move it over to Shed here. I like this solo layout.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
Let's him hone in. Let's him hone in on the ideas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Watch the wheels turn in our heads as we're speaking.
Yeah,
I get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
what we're talking about.
I almost want to say that Dallas is just would be wise to kind of just wait. Boston has been so inconsistent, and we all know on the big stage that Tatum hasn't shown up traditionally, and that Dallas can actually come alive and just start taking the game over. And I think that's what's going to happen. They now know how Boston is going to be playing them and what they need to do to adjust to get Kyrie better looking shots, to get Luka open. I mean, they got to do something, and there's no way they're just going to lay down. Jason Kidd is too good of a coach to not come up with some sort of scheme or some sort of ultimatum and like punish Boston for like overcommitting to Luka and Kyrie to, set up a different play. Boston is going to come out and shoot like they did last game, every single game. So, and Dallas is too talented to just kind of lie over and die. So, I mean, it's in Boston tonight, but I really think that, especially with Kyrie playing in Boston in the past, I mean, I think that he's going to actually come up with a second gear here and come alive and just start taking the game over like he should have done last game. They just look flat. I don't know what it was. They look like they had no gas in game one. I don't know.
They did not match their intensity outside of getting the game down to 8.
Yeah, not even close. So I would expect them to do the complete opposite this game and just be coming out all cylinders firing.
Yeah,
I like it, Shed. Good take. I think it's a reasonable one at that. And truth be told, when I think about what it's going to take for this particular team to, how would you say, just get back in. They took the Celtics' immediate punch, which should be expected.
Yeah.
The Celtics, they have had a propensity for being a little lackadaisical at home.
Yeah.
So I do think this is a game that the Mavericks could potentially steal, but they're not going to get nothing for free. That's for damn sure. I predicted Mavericks in 7 going in, but I also predicted Boston to win game 1, to be all the way honest with you, if my prediction is right. I've got Boston winning. Boston not relinquishing a lead in this series in terms of games to games until the last game. So believe me, guys, if Boston comes out tonight and looks like they did in game 1, I'm going to be changing my own tune about my original prediction. I thought Boston's Achilles, truthfully, could have been Denver had Denver made it that far. But the Dallas Mavericks gradually have made believers out of me, and I get it. Sometimes matchups matter. They did not have to play the Denver Nuggets, and I get it. Boston had some fortuitous bounces with injuries to their opponents, but all you could do is play who's in front of you. So I'm not going to get on either team for that. I just don't think that would be fair.
Yeah, I think that Denver would have matched up way better with Boston.
No question. No question about
sure.
that. I couldn't agree more, Shed. I think you're 100% correct on that. Mom Dukes, happy cumpleaños, Idris. Mavs in 6. My mom really thinks they're going to just – it's early.
I had Mavs in 6 too, and
that's what I had. Mavs in 6. Brady Bunch and Sydney, baby.
I'm the only dude that has it go in 7, and some of my friends from Boston, I'll name them out, Mr. Steven Ridlon, Mr. Corey Haddock, they are awesome dudes. They're entrenched in the Boston culture, but they are like the best kind of Boston fans. You know what I mean?
Thank God.
And truth be told, they get on me about it, but
Boston
it's all good.
Fans suck.
I'm here for
90% of them suck.
I'm here for the smoke. They say the same thing about us, though, so I'm okay with it.
I want Al Horford to finally win a chip because he's been around a while, he's grinded and all. But I don't like Boston, man. A lot of their fans are just like the Red Sox.
Idris, I'm going to say this very politely. I do respect Al Horford, but as a Patrick Ewing fan, I'm just not that moved.
No, I don't. I like
just not that moved.
I like to see him win, but I don't want Boston to win.
The one player. Well, 2 players, but I'm going to say one for a blast from the past. May he continue to rest in power. Mr. Reggie Lewis, who I don't give 2 damns what jersey he wore. Class act through and through. And when he tragically left just so untimely, I felt like this Boston Celtics organization went backwards, and it brought back the horrible feeling of a Len Bias, tragically making a mistake that had tragic consequences. And, Larry Bird, they hit the lotto, obviously, getting him. He played alongside some phenomenal Hall of Famers that held back the Jordan era from taking full bloom which prevented the Lakers from winning 7 or 8 as opposed to 5. You know, they kind of made the Pistons wait a little while, and they kind of ended the Sixer era of dominance along with those Lakers who they always fought so fiercely with. So that's the one dude that I wish we could have seen it all through, because I think Reggie Lewis would have been one of the all-time greats. He was just getting started. And one thing about Reggie Lewis that I always commended him for is that he made life so very hard for Michael Jeffrey Jordan in terms of having the offense come to him and having to work just so extra hard. Now, granted, it was a limited sample size, but it was so damn sad when we lost Reggie Lewis. I think Reggie Lewis was going to just be that damn special. And a guy that knew that he could have died on a basketball court, but he wanted to make sure that his family had the best of everything. And I can't say any more, the hell with basketball for a second. I can't say any more about the man being that kind of mindset, taking care of his. He has all my respect, absolutely all my respect. So you are missed, Reggie Lewis, and I don't want you to think that just because it's been a long time that we haven't forgotten about you.
Right on.
Well said.
Going to be a great game tonight. I look forward to it. Keeping it in Boston. Why John Henry is an awful owner. The same Corey Haddock posted something on his personal Facebook page that I actually found rather interesting. Because as a New York Knicks fan, I know what it's like to be frustrated with ownership.
Yes, the great James Dolan.
Yes, sir. And this is a team that when you consider that how much they are worth, and when an owner refers to such an iconic franchise as just another asset,
right?
Winning is not on his mind, and he says, well, you know how many teams are in MLB, and only one will be happy at the end of the year. Let the players say that.
Yeah.
Bro, you don't care about baseball. And listen, I ain't no Boston sympathizer, but one thing that I respect about those people, they are passionate in the same regard as we are about our sports teams.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you hate the Boston Red Sox or not. Make it a point once in your lifetime, if you love baseball, to go to Fenway Park.
Man,
it is one of the most beautiful parks in the country. And
it's an actual baseball park.
It's truly iconic. Wrigley's another one that's on my bucket list. But what I'm getting at is I've been to Fenway. Yeah. The intensity is so real. But the thing about people like that, they know their baseball. Like when I look at the way that they just gave Derek Jeter all the roses, you know, when he was hanging it up and he played his final game in Fenway. And that's a beautiful thing, because I will say this. I absolutely loathe the Boston Red Sox. And I get it. Our rivalry hasn't exactly been what it used to be. But I want the Red Sox and Yankees to kind of both be relevant at the same time, because it's better for the sport. And John Henry, you have passionate fans that pay a lot of money to go see that team play. And you have more than enough profits to put out a better team. Stop lowballing those great fans. Even that idiot Steve Cohn out in Queens, at least he spends the money. Just not necessarily the best. I called him an idiot because I meant it. As far as John Henry goes, sell the team, buddy. Just sell the damn team. The fans of Boston deserve more, and that is the end of Boston empathy for the rest of this show.
With me, everything you said, I've been to Fenway twice, and if you haven't been there, like you said, you got to go from the outside when you walk across the bridge to the thing. Inside, you get the experience. As a Yankee fan, I had my baby.
It's a very cultured city.
God, I mean, I stood in line. And the moment you get online, the funny thing is, right down the street, they have nothing but shops. You cannot find a New York Yankees jersey in any of those shops.
Yeah, they kept it pretty. They kept it pretty legit with that.
Yeah, and when you get to the stadium, you walk down the street, you see all the stuff. I mean, it's like a festival on the street, and it's just a regular day. You get to the stadium, you're like, damn. Now, if you wear a Yankee jersey, you might get hit with beer like I did, but we won.
The hate has kind of subsided in terms of just total hatred for us, and they still think we suck at life. But the thing that's different now is that with them getting their taste of history after 8.5 decades of not winning, and generationally just be known as losers, similar to what the Cubs used to have to wear in the National League. I was there in '97. We had just won the World Series the next year, the previous year, and ultimately we three-peated after falling short in '97. I went to the Mo Vaughn 3-homer game. I'm getting pelted with all kinds of shit, from beer to mustard to something that I don't really know, something that I wasn't sure what it was, and maybe it's best that I don't know. But all I'm going to say is my father, rest his soul, pleaded with me, Rich, whatever you wear, dude, do not wear the Babe Ruth trading card T-shirt, because it has this whole fucking story on the back and about how he was acquired, and these people hate us more than we could ever hate them because they've waited too long. Don't wear it, Rich. Now, me being my 15-year-old asshole self, I'm going to wear it.
Yep. I'm right. I would do the same thing.
I wore my Babe Ruth, man, and I didn't care. Give me the mustard. Give me all the smoke. But bottom line is, I hate the Red Sox with a passion, but they do deserve a better owner.
Absolutely. Those are good fans, no matter how you slice it.
It's a disservice to the fan base.
Absolutely.
What's that?
Oh, I was just saying, it's a disservice to the fan base, like to say that. That's just another asset. Look, dude, you're a billionaire. Good for effing you. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
These guys that are working 9-to-5 jobs, freaking struggling to get through the freaking everyday life.
What kind of guys,
and
man?
And they're like, all I want to do is just go to one Red Sox this game this year. That's all I want to do. I just want to take my boy or my daughter or whoever, my family members. And this guy's like, just another asset, not a big deal to me. Like, dude, are you serious? These freaking fans deserve so much better than that. It is so disgraceful to just say that. Like, if Hal Steinbrenner said that shit, dude, I'd be so pissed off.
It'd be mutiny, bro. And the thing with Hal, I'll be the first to admit.
Go ahead.
I'll be the first. No, you're good. You're good. I'll be the first to admit that Hal is not like his late father, the boss. But what I will say is this. When you look at the Yankee payroll, nobody is going to convince me that Hal's being cheap. If Juan Soto leaves, it's because the contract is astronomical, which probably means that the Dodgers, the team that we're playing right now, is going to end up buying him. We discussed this on a previous show, Shed. We said if Soto and the Yankees don't get the job done, similar to like Judge with the 62 season, if he didn't get the job done, it's actually more of a burden that you have to bring him back because you were that damn close, so to speak.
Correct.
Now, if we win the whole thing with Soto and he has another ring and he goes on and makes all the money, even though it would still suck, it doesn't suck the same kind of way because we have a drought going back to 2009, and this just goes to show how spoiled our fan base is. That's considered a drought in Yankee country.
It is. Yeah.
Tell a Cubs fan that it's only been since 2009 and they would do a backflip, or even those Boston fans. Say what you want about them. But one thing I'll say about Red Sox fans, I might not give this to Patriot fans.
Yeah.
But I'll give it to Bruin, Celtic, and Red Sox fans. They know misery. They've dealt with misery, and they are still that quality of fan. And that's all I'm going to say. That's why I get mad at certain teams, fan bases that act like they are supposed to be entitled to something because of a great lineage of history.
Boston has one since the Boston 3 party, yeah?
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, you're like, Richie, stop it. You're being too nice. I get it. I liked it. Thank you for being my toxic individual in that moment. I needed that balance.
I'm just trying to help.
I appreciate it.
Red Sox fans, F you still. We understand. We really understand, but y'all can still go to hell.
That's right.
We still fuck Boston.
That's right.
Just to let y'all know.
We didn't get soft. We were just being, polite, sort of.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. We're gonna move it. By the way, shout out Corey Haddock for bringing this article to my attention. It was a good read, and I did a little more digging on this. And yes, sir, it is time for him to go. And as a Knicks fan, I get it. San Francisco 49ers, Mr. Shed, I'm addressing you directly here. Is there any money for Brandon Ayuk after the CMC deal and Brock Purdy money on the horizon?
Yes, sir, there is. As you guys know, I am a diehard 49er fan, so I looked into this pretty heavily because after I saw Juwan Jennings get re-signed, by the way,
Good ball player.
Add that in there. And then and they had Ricky Pearsall first overall, or not first overall, but first round draft pick. Sorry.
Yeah.
And they just gave McCaffrey an extension and paid him $8 million more per year guaranteed money. Okay, so my concern was like, oh, I don't know what they're going to do with Ayuk now. I sent that in our group text actually. The fact is that money that they gave Jennings and McCaffrey actually will have no bearing on re-signing Ayuk. Now Ayuk is the people are saying that Ayuk is asking for $30 million a year. He's not going to get that. That is tier one wide receiver money. I mean, I think the rumor is that they offered him 26.
I still think 26 is rather fair because it's not just about the money, dude. You're getting to play on a championship caliber team that's competing for Super Bowls every year.
And that's the thing. So if they want to trade like to Pittsburgh, I know that's a big rumor too. Is he gonna like the reason why he's so successful in the 49er offense is they have so many weapons and McCaffrey, Debo, Kittle. I mean, even Juszczyk. I mean, you can name the weapons and just go, ying. But he gets open all the time because he's almost an afterthought because everybody's so concerned of McCaffrey and Debo. If you put him another, I'm not saying he wouldn't be successful somewhere else because he will be, but will he be as successful? And the Niners are a run-first offense. Right?
Yes, good point, my man.
So the thing is with that, I mean, he had 75 receptions last year and like 14 touchdowns or something like that. So when you're paying a top-tier wide receiver like that, you need him to be like a Jamar Chase. You need to be like a CeeDee Lamb.
You got to ask yourself if Mr. Ayuk was to go somewhere else, can you get that similar productivity from a different player that makes a lot less? To your point, a guy like a Jennings, yes, they paid him, I get it. But there's always somebody next. Do they fit your scheme? That's why the New England Patriots, as much as I don't like them, were so damn good for so long because they found guys that fit the system and never overpaid for anyone.
Right? Yeah. So that's the big question. I mean, so the 26 mil that supposedly they offered him, he didn't want or whatever. But he's not tier one. I would say he's a tier 2 wide receiver one, where he's with Amon-Ra St. Brown, maybe a T. Higgins. CeeDee Lamb's probably gonna get paid more than that.
CeeDee's gonna break.
Yeah, Lamb is definitely.
CeeDee Lamb's freaking legit.
Market. Oh yeah.
But I mean, he's not there. And the Niners can't pay him like that. Debo's making 26 mil this year. This is the most expensive year in his contract. They can't. I mean, they can't afford to pay him this year and keep him on the team. By the way, he's still playing the franchise.
I mean, you got an all-star team over there, and the thing is, when you have the triple threat, the best running back currently in the NFL when healthy, of course, Christian McCaffrey, who it seems like, thankfully for all the football fans, he has overcome an injury-riddled past with Carolina, who I think used him the wrong way. The man could throw. We already know that he's a pass-catching threat, one of the absolute best in all of football. We know what he does behind the line of scrimmage. He's even the kind of guy that's not afraid to get dirty, get the tough yards. Yeah. He literally does it all. He's capable of pretty much doing anything on a football field. I wouldn't be surprised if the man could kick.
He might.
And his daddy was a hell of a baller. Started with our team, ultimately went to Denver. Ed McCaffrey was a hell of a wide receiver.
And you're welcome, running backs, for the Niners actually paying one. So maybe that'll look good for the rest of you moving forward.
And along with that, you could also thank the Philadelphia Eagles for overpaying
Saquon Barkley.
What's his name? The guy that wore Orleans Darkwater's number. I forgot his name. Orleans wore 26. I do recall that. Mr. Singletary wears 26. We'll speak on him next. Intro role. Something that this guy that we just replaced never did. He actually won a Super Bowl. That's pretty cool. Isn't that what they play for? I like that. Charles Barkley, hell of a guy. TNT. I like him. He's not a role model, but he's still a guy that I wouldn't mind having a beer with.
You know what? I think Ayuk needs to think about what he's asking for, because he has to ask himself, like you were saying earlier, would you be that same type of player if you went to because you're not going to Philly. They got all the weapons. But would you be the same type of player in Pittsburgh where you only got one other guy out there? You only got
not to mention the quarterback situation.
Yeah, and you only have one good. You got one receiver on one. You got Pickens on one side. Two, like I said, you got to ask yourself if you hold out and go somewhere or go.
Will you ever see that kind of production again? And outside of the occasional monsoon, it rained in the Green Bay playoff game, a little wacky. I remember a couple of years ago, week 1 against Chicago, the Trey Lance game.
Monsoon.
Absolutely. But the point I'm making is those 49ers, all in all, it's a cool place to play. They have a state-of-the-art stadium.
Nice weather.
The weather, for the most part, is not too terrible.
They don't play on turf.
They don't play on turf. One of the best kept fields in the NFL. So, yeah, and, first-class organization. At the end of the day, this is a team that had pure greatness in the 1980s, the first dynasty of my lifetime that I experienced. Mm-hmm. And, they had a couple of step backs before they got over the Dallas Cowboys. They've been close with CK7, close with Alex Smith, close with Jimmy G, now close with Purdy. The point is that every year, especially under John Lynch's watch, this team is always a couple of plays away from either making the Super Bowl or winning a Super Bowl. And, they're going to be around for a few more years. So, Brandon Ayuk, is it about legacy or money? Because at the end of the day, you're certainly not going to starve, bro.
Do you want to compete for a title, or do you want to go somewhere else to make more money?
Hey, you said it. You said it best. We're going to move it along to the great friends of the 49ers. Just kidding. The New York Football Giants. You can't write the history of either team without talking about both of them because they have had some phenomenal battles in the playoffs. 49ers are definitely on a different spectrum of the NFL power mountain right now. Giants are still trying to figure it out after a surprising 22. Devin Singletary says, Giants aren't scared of the Saquon shadow. Is Barkley's absence a possible blessing in disguise? Waller wraps up career. We're going to start with Waller, and then we'll talk about the football stuff. Listen, guys, I understand that everybody has a different taste in what they consider rap, what they consider real hip-hop, whatever they consider. All I'm going to say here is that as a grown man, I know what it's like to hurt over a lady. I know what it's like to hurt in general. Bro, this was, in the words of Rocky Maivia, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, that dude, this was the biggest smoldering, smelly piece of monkey crap that I have ever heard. That was god awful, bro.
Have you heard it, Shay?
Yeah, I have. Not the whole song. I just saw the highlights.
That was actually trying to use auto-tune when people trying to get away from auto-tune. That was the worst. If you have to rank the athletes who made music, that right there, I'm talking about from the best to the worst. He is number one.
Like, I'll dry hate on T-Pain because of all the auto-tune, but at the end of the day, T-Pain has the voice of an angel. He really does. That man can sing. That man can sing. That man can sing. But I'm sorry, I don't know what the hell he was trying to do.
Waller's retiring to become a singer or rapper, as we say, Jamaican culture, God bless your heart. Really, if people know, bless your heart means you piece of shit.
Now, listen, I'm the furthest thing from Jamaican, but I got a lot of Jamaican friends, and all I'm going to say is that was rubbish.
Rubbish. Bless his heart.
Horrible. Okay, enough about him. Thank you for retiring, Waller. Get the hell off my team. Go ahead, Shed.
I have a comment on it.
By all means. Go ahead. Let's see what the rest of the NFL landscape thinks about this fuckery.
I would just really like to know if he's got CTE or something already, because don't be wrong, a broken heart's a broken heart, but why would you do something like that, dude? Like,
doesn't he have to play to get CTE? Like, formerly?
Oh, shots fired, my guy. The punches are going.
All right. No, I don't think he has CTE. I think that he has a bad hip, lower extremity injuries, and I'm just going to keep it a buck. I think he's a dumbass.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. Not everything has to be said in an eloquent way. Not everything has to be said in an understanding way. I'm a hip hop head. Don't put that shit out here in the year 2024. You sound like a friggin' cracked out Joyner Lucas, because Joyner Lucas I actually respect.
Me too.
And then with that auto tune.
That auto tune. We're trying to get away from that.
What the fuck was that, man?
We're trying to get away from auto tune, and you go.
I'm happy he's gone. I understand why General Manager Joe Shea took a chance. He was a hell of a football player with the Vegas Raiders before succumbing to one too many injuries. I am happy. I am happy on a more serious note. On a more serious note, that at least it appears, I don't know what's going on lately, that he has, kept his sobriety. He had his demons. He's been very vocal about it. In that regard, I praise him, all jokes aside about the music shit. But, I wish him well, because at the end of the day, I have no reason not to, but get off my damn team. All right, Devin Singletary says the Giants aren't scared of the Saquon shadow. Mr. Salam, you and I spoke about this on the car ride earlier today. We are in agreement that a committee backfield usually works in today's NFL, unless if you have a Derrick Henry or a CMC or that caliber of a running back. Saquon Barkley had flashes of showing that, but we all know the injury history. What I like about Mr. Singletary, Idris, you said it in the car. The best ability is availability, and he doesn't miss a lot of games, knock on the wood.
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that our O-line is going to look like the 92 Cowboys, but I do feel that the New York Giants made a concerted effort of getting proven veterans in this league that play a lot of games, and their PFF grades, amongst other grades, the eye test, these guys are decent players. We have an uphill battle to get back to playing Giant football. It's not going to happen right away, and we know that Daniel Jones is possibly in his final year in East Rutherford, barring a ball-out session, which is not out of the possibility, the realm of possibility. We shall see. But I guess what I'm getting at is, and Idris said it best, I'm basically going to paraphrase what Idris said. He was like, sometimes as a quarterback, when you lose a number one receiver or a number one running back, it forces you to use your brain in a better way in terms of getting other guys involved and more so showcasing what you can or sometimes can't do. When you are a run-first team, it does kind of stunt your growth as a quarterback. I'm not blaming Saquon Barkley for that. There's a litany of reasons why Daniel Jones has been a late bloomer. Some of it is bad coaching because or bad mismanagement of a franchise when you're constantly firing people. Part of it is maybe he's just the wrong guy, and this year we'll finally settle that debate. Dave Gettleman made two boo-boos. You don't take a running back as high as it takes Saquon, and you don't reach on Jones when you could have got him at pick 17. But he's our quarterback for now. I will support him. But as Singletary goes, one thing that he does better than Saquon Barkley outside of actually play football games is he's better at breaking tackles in the open field. No, he's not a human joystick like Saquon is when Saquon's feeling good. Yes, I will not run the same offense in Madden because I have to throw more now. It's not the same kind of fun that Saquon brings. But similar to what Barry Sanders, Idris, and we spoke about this as well, Saquon Barkley doesn't always take the yards he is given. And that's part of the reason why that yards per carry is not better than it should be. I don't want to hear about shitty O-line. I get it. But how bad is our O-line? I can't even assess them if they're not on the field. It's hard to say, they suck. What do you mean they suck? They haven't played in a month.
Right.
Old pro Andrew Thomas didn't even get on the field last year until it was too late.
Yeah.
Listen, I know we're under construction. I get all of that shit. But if the Philadelphia Eagles do not win a Super Bowl with the man that wore Orleans Darkwa's number, I think they overpaid him. And they're just thanking him for being Saquon and showing up with that weird-looking Kanye polo, talking shit about my team. You never won shit with us, Quan. I wish you well. Don't get hurt. But you ain't Tiki. You ain't Brandon Jacobs. You're not Rodney Hampton. And quite frankly, I don't even know if you're Orleans Darkwa. Just kidding. You're a little better than him, but you're not better than Antrell Roll, and he played defense. Exactly. I'm done with this. Say anything you want. I'm going to cool off.
I like what Devin Singletary said because it's saying, look here, he's gone. We doing our thing now. That's what I want to hear. He's like, we're not worried about what he did. It's time for us to do what we're going to do.
I'm glad saying that.
Running back says that.
Yeah, look like a fucking tomato. I'm sorry.
And for our fans who say we lost a good running back.
I'm not going to sit here and say he's not a great talent. I won't be that ignorant.
Right, but just like OBJ, he couldn't stay on the field. He couldn't stay healthy. And when the draft came out, I wanted Chubb. Nah, Saquon. I said, I want Chubb.
Because you could have got him later.
Could have got him later.
And you could have got Quentin Nelson from my favorite college team, the University of Notre Dame. Oh, we don't take guards that quick. I don't know. Do you like Hall of Famers?
Right. And I'm not shitting on Saquon. The guy
I am a little, but it's kind of like, a salty girlfriend.
He was great in bouncing out and taking off.
Of course.
But what I like about Singletary, he follows his blockers. He's looking for the hole.
Yes.
And once you get through the hole, it's hard to bring this man down.
And if you look at some of the numbers on less carries, one thing that they have in common is a yards per carry ratio. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that Devin Singletary is Saquon Barkley. I would be ignorant for saying that. Right. But with a committee-based backfield and with Daniel Jones throwing the ball to Malik Nabers, I believe – just fuck around. I believe that we're going to find out if Jones has any more okay, if Jones balls out this year, you can still let him go. His value will be up. And then you can think about the future anyway. But the point I'm making is he's only 1 year removed from a playoff win.
Right.
Got hurt last year. We had a gauntlet last year. Our O-line was injured, and even when they were together, they weren't playing well. I'm not blaming anything on one particular thing. Last year was a year to forget. It happens to everybody once in a while.
Yeah.
But there is a part of me that believes that this regime and this team's potential looks a little more like 2022 and a little less like 2023. I guess we'll find out.
It's like this, man. Hold on, one second. Oh, no, go ahead, shit.
No, I was just gonna say from the outside looking in as a non-Giants fan, you guys have obviously have a lot more passion than I do towards what's going on. But I'll say that Devin Singletary said the right thing.
I like it
because it's their team now. There is no Saquon.
Right.
They're gonna do their own thing.
It's a little bit of everyone right now.
And to his point, I mean, yeah, we're not living in a shadow. They're going to create their own destination. And whether that is going to be better or worse than when Saquon was there, he's being a really good teammate, right? Like that's going to build character and build him a representation in the locker room with his teammates saying that he's going to be the starting running back, RB1. And he's embracing it, and he's going to do the best to his ability to be the best he can be for that team. I mean, that's a great thing to do for the locker room. Now, he is nowhere near as talented.
No.
I mean, but defenses now are not going to be so focused on stopping the run as they were before.
I think he has his first 1,000-yard season on the ground. I would not be the least bit surprised because he's been teetering with split duty around 850, 880. It's
on Houston, yeah.
A little bit more. And even in Buffalo, with a little bit more of a carry ratio, I think Devin could go for about 1,000, maybe add another 150 or so in the receiving realm of it. The point is, it's money well spent. He's a pro's pro.
You know what, Richie? It's like, and
what attitude.
What our fans don't realize, I've been watching the Giants since 1973. I think that's when I started becoming a Giants fan.
That was well before the 7-Eleven babies emerged.
Right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's when the 7 ladies maybe. Yeah. We'll get on that later. Yeah. But and even going back that far, we had I just had his name in my head and I forgot. He's locked up now. But we
Dave Meggett.
Dave Meggett, my man.
Dave Meggett back then.
He was a hell of a football player.
We had Doug Kotar. We had running back by committee back then. In the 80s, we had running back. We had Rodney Hampton, O.J. Anderson.
Hampton was the lead back if he didn't get hurt. Nobody thought O.J. had anything left in the tank. Right. They didn't think he had any juice left. Right. And he ultimately won a Super Bowl MVP.
Right. Rodney Hampton, O.J. We had all these. Then you go to the 2000s.
After Tiki.
War and Tiki. We had all these.
Earth, wind, fire, and come up with another weather condition. You know, they had those kind of guys. Look at what the team that always kicks our ass does. Got to give them the props. The Philadelphia Eagles have been running that committee backfield for a long time. I get why they did it with Saquon. They feel that they have a window that is still open, and they're going to be challenging Shed's 49ers among a couple of other young rising teams like the Packers, like the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, you still got to account for them. They're still kind of in it. And the thing is like Philly sees this. If Philly wasn't this close to winning a championship, or at least they think they're this close, they wouldn't have signed him and made sure that they blew him out of the water to make that deal happen. Howie Roseman is a phenomenal general manager. Even though I hate that team, I will not, run away from the facts. Philadelphia Eagles are a very well-run organization, but having said that,
but you have a question.
Did quit on that coach last year. Yes, sir.
Have we commented on Nick Sirianni's response to Giants fans?
Thank you for doing that. This is how I see it. Yeah. No, I'm okay with it. I'm okay. I'll be honest with you. I'm not offended. If he would have said it like right after Saquon bolted for the Kelly Green, I think I would have been a little more in my feelings. I'll be honest with you. Even if he didn't go to Philly. He went to Houston or wherever the hell he could have won. Could have won anywhere. He's a good football player. He really is. The thing is, you don't put that kind of money into that kind of player when you're not that close to winning a championship. No. And that's why I feel that I was hurt by Saquon's decision. Listen, a man doesn't have to answer to anyone about how he chooses to feed his family.
Right.
But don't be a fucking douchebag and act like we didn't try to give you a fair deal. We just didn't give you as much as they wanted to give you guaranteed. Because one thing that's never been guaranteed is your ability to actually complete a full season.
Oh, man, there we go. I like
Yes, sir. And Nick Sirianni
right here.
Nick Sirianni. I'm going to say this. I think you're a pretty good football coach, but I think you talk way too much for a guy who hasn't won shit.
Right.
Maybe you could learn a little humbleness from your wide receivers coach. He actually has some bling on his hand, you dick. All right. Start bench cut. We got the Yankees' biggest threat in the American League. Is it the Orioles? Is it the Guardians? Is it the Mariners? Is it someone else? I'm going to just chime in as a referee for this, but I'm going to chime in and say as to why I believe that each team poses a threat. I'll start with the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners, in my opinion, have the best pitching staff through the first half of the baseball season. Offensively, I still don't think they're all the way there, but if Julio Rodriguez gets a little help, I do think that they are dangerous. As the Cleveland Guardians go, although they play in a division that for years has been made fun of, I gradually think the competition, with the exception of the Chicago White Sox, those pale hosers from the Windy City, I actually think that division is gradually getting better. The Detroit Tigers, led by AJ Hinch, are doing a better job, as well as the Kansas City Royals, who me and Shed talked about off air. The Guardians are a reflection of their manager and a reflection of the greediness that Jose Ramirez brings. I have the utmost respect for that guy, and I liked him even more after he put Tim Anderson on his ass. As the Baltimore Orioles go, I'll be honest, guys, going into the season, they were my pick to win the American League, and they still may very well win the American League. They are younger than the Yankees. If we're going star for star offensively, the combo of Soto and Judge has definitely made up for the other part of this.
Yeah.
But start bench cut. I'm going to give it about a minute each, and then I'm going to end this show on why Soto is just so damn important to the Yanks. But go ahead, boys.
You want to go first, Ed?
Sure.
Go first?
No, that's fine. So I'm starting Baltimore, and I'm benching Seattle, and I'm going to cut the Cleveland Guardians. Reason being, okay, so Baltimore plays in the same exact division as the Yankees. No one knows them better than a team that's in their same division.
Good point.
And they are younger, and they are a lot hungrier. The Baltimore Orioles are doing the opposite of what Boston's doing. The Boston's owner is selling. Baltimore's owner is buying. He claims that they are going to start investing more in the players and the team and stuff like that. And as we know, Boston is doing the opposite, sort of, right? Yeah. And Seattle's rotation is legit. I just don't. Their offense is what scares me with that. And the Cleveland Guardians, the Yankees own them. I mean, they're just like the Twins, and that's where I'm going. Historically, they just own them. So I'm not too worried about them. Go ahead, Idris. Try to stick to the minute.
Yeah, I'm starting the Orioles, and I'm benching Seattle, and I'm cutting Guardians. I've never had any confidence in the Guardians, even when they were the Indians. When it comes to the playoffs, they always seems to implode somewhere along the season, either rather than late in the season or in the playoffs. They don't show up. Seattle, great pitching, but they remind me of the Milwaukee Brewers. They look good, play good, but when it's time to really do their thing, they're like, yeah, let's check out. I mean, they don't sell off players. They just
I think they could do better with acquisitions. But Julio Rodriguez is that dude. I will say that.
Oh, he's that dude.
Oh, he's awesome. Oh yeah.
The Orioles, they're gonna be the biggest threat. They're young, they're hungry, and like Shed said, they're on the come up. They got to own us. Look, we got to start putting money. We got to cut the stuff we've been doing since Rafael Palmeiro and everybody else. We got to start winning. And
Bobby Blomia also gets money from those guys too, by the way. Sorry, you just
right.
Go ahead.
Nah, you good. And they're only a game back, man. So I think they're gonna be tough. But I think they'll fall back a little bit, man. I just got a feeling they're gonna fall back because they should be in first place right now, considering the type of team we got.
They beat the Yankees already.
Yeah, they did chin check us 3 out of 4. I personally think that part of the reason we're in first, besides just playing good baseball, is because they had a ton of rainouts where it's so close is what I'm getting at. Yeah. But I couldn't ask for anything more. I'm with both of you for 2 different reasons. I'm gonna politely give you guys a tie because I can't give a guy a loss on his birthday. And I can't give a guy a loss if I think that his points match up to the birthday boy. So you guys are getting.
I was going to concede at first. I was like, shit, God, because I was like, he said the same things I was going to say.
No. I think you guys answered the question well. We're going to keep it on the Yanks for a moment here. Juan Soto, absent, but the main thing is the MRI came back clean. Thank God. Yankees cannot do without this guy. He is the 1-year rental that's going to make one owner, one fan base, one team very happy for probably the better part of 10 years after this year.
We're up to nothing right now.
Yes, indeed. Luis Gil's on the mound. I bought him. Yeah, he's on my fantasy team. Luis Gil is incredible, by the way. Yeah, my God. As far as Juan Soto goes, short and sweet, his plate presence alone makes life a living hell for just dealing with him. His baseball acumen is something to not mess around with. And the thing that I love about him is that he just kind of fits in. He's not trying to one-up Aaron Judge. Early in the season, he most definitely was. Aaron Judge has handled it like a true captain should, supporting him while working on getting better himself, because Judge did get off to a pretty terrible start. Now Judge is hovering around 300. Juan Soto will be back hopefully tomorrow. Yankees are going to salvage the 3rd game of this series, and all I'm going to say is his absence has been on full display of why we cannot afford to have him gone for any extended period of time. He may very well be the most important Yankee in that regard because we've been doing it without Garrett Cole all year. Credit to the pitching staff. Credit to the pitching coach. Credit to Aaron Boone. I always am on his ass. He's done a good job managing pitching innings and workloads this year. I am an Aaron Boone fan this year. I keep it honest and try to be fair. Shed, Idris, whoever wants to go, your thoughts.
Shouts out to Giancarlo Stanton. Let me tell you why. They were talking about Hall of Fame players, and he said, "I'm not a Hall of Fame player."
Wow.
He said, "I haven't," and they were trying to say he's been Hall of Fame
because he's gonna push the envelope because he's gonna make the 500 home run club.
Yeah. And they were saying how if he make the 500, he said, "I'm not a Hall of Famer right now." He said,
"I think that's a nice humbleness that's a nice humbleness that
I
needs
agree.
to be replicated by some of these players."
I almost want to say that the Cashman comment almost was a wake up call for him, where he said like, yeah, if he's on the field, if he's actually healthy,
and he took it serious.
Yes, that's it right there. He took it serious. He slimmed down. He's accepting his role with the team, dropping in the lineup. Still producing better than he did last year. Still not to the numbers when he was in Florida, but still he's producing and he's accepting it. And he's also being very humble on top of that, with the comment that Idris just said, like, oh, I'm not a Hall of Famer, man. Not right now, anyway. Like, I need to do more.
I like it.
Like,
I like it a lot.
He's very, his attitude has changed. He wants to be a big part of a bigger picture, or a small part of a bigger picture, rather.
I like it.
He just wants to win, and he wants to contribute, and wants to be a better player and a better person, and earn the money that he's actually getting paid. That's a great thing that he said.
And what I also like about what he's been doing this year is that he's been lending a helping hand and a good positive energy to the captain Judge when he was going through the sick slump.
Yeah.
He's been super welcoming
Great
to Juan
teammate.
Soto, as well as former Red Sox Alex Verdugo, who I don't think gets nearly enough credit for what he's done this year. He's definitely a positive presence in that locker room. Before we get out of here, we're going to talk about something that's not that positive. Big Papi, David Ortiz, saying you want to get out of the shadow of the New York Yankees, New York Mets, you need to move to Oklahoma.
Or move to Montreal.
Papi, similar to Pedro, were two Yankee killers in their own right. And, we had our moments where we got the best of them, too.
Yeah.
But one thing that I appreciate about both those ball players is that they acknowledged the dominance of certain moments of a great rivalry. Because believe me, Pedro mowed us down at times. We got the better of him. And we all know that Big Papi, more than likely the greatest designated hitter in the history of the game, and one of the few guys that could have a small highlight reel against the great Mariano Rivera. Don't get it twisted. Mariano did his thing against him too. But just the fact that you have some success and you can put together a highlight reel against a man like Rivera speaks volumes about the kind of player you are. More importantly, on the human level, the way that he addressed that city after the tragedy that happened at the marathon, nothing but love for Big Papi. Nothing but love there.
Yeah, Boston Marathon thing.
Mets just moved to Montreal, man.
Ooh. Montreal Mets.
Montreal
the
Mets.
M&Ms. I like it. Dory drinks Vino. You might be putting your little girl down to sleep right now, but maybe that's why you're not in the comments cursing all of us out. Idris, happy birthday, man. Last word for you. It is your birthday. What do you want to say? Anything on your mind?
Caitlin Clark, baby, 22. My jersey will be here this week.
Okay, he's supporting. We
should comment on that. I mean, she got snubbed on not being on the women's national team.
I think it's sorry. Go ahead, Idris. You first.
I think so too, but I think it's good because she's just in the league. She's trying to get her game going, But I wish she would have got on the team because it'd have been exciting to see her play on that team.
To argue with you, Christian Leitner got on the 96 Dream team, and he just came out of college just to put a college kid on that team.
I
he was just to be on that team because he's a college kid.
I honestly think that selection should have been Shaquille O'Neal, but I think the reason they want Leitner, because that team was so loaded with centers. You had the Admiral as well as Big Patrick.
Oh yeah.
Now I took Brittany Griner out and put Caitlin Clark there.
See, I would have probably done that because Brittany's the past, Caitlin is the present and future. But I will say this: WNBA players. We're going to expand on this in a much deeper part down the road. I just want to say one little thing. It's a complex situation, and I'm not going to get into all of it now. But any player that benefits your league getting eyes on them, you guys need to see that because it makes me feel like there's a hatred going on that breeds mediocrity, and that is just not good business.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
There is so much more that we could speak on, and believe me, we will in a future show. Gonna talk to the boys off air about a potential boxing show that I want to put together in the near future. Idris, happy birthday, bro. Quite the milestone.
Happy birthday, bud.
Number 60, y'all. Number 60.
Yeah, don't look it. That's kind of wild to me. I was like beside myself when we first became friends, and you told me your real age. Shed, great to see you 2 weeks in a row. We're going to be making sure that we get your face on here a lot more frequently. If you haven't already, please make it a point, like and subscribe to the channel. Richie X Jr. Sports Podcast on YouTube. Enjoy the little bit left of your weekend. Enjoy the NBA Finals or whatever else you're into. Until next time, I am Richie, and we are out.
Woo, woo.